All right, today we are going to chat about Facebook. We're going to have a really great conversation about how I changed at the very beginning of my business, how I posted, and how I got help from a business coach in order to make that decision. And it made my Facebook completely change within 30 days. It was amazing, and I want to share it with you so that you can take advantage of these great secrets. Welcome to the Small Business Hustle. And hello, I'm Molly B, your host and owner of MJ's Market, a small general store in South Dakota. This is a weekly podcast where we discuss operating a small business. All right, Facebook, that's the topic for today. Welcome. We are going to jump into Facebook as soon as we finish our quote. So today's quote is, "A truly strong person does not need the approval of others any more than a lion needs the approval of sheep." Vernon Howard. So I love that because I got criticized more than once about how I run my Facebook page. And we're going to talk about the only metric that matters when it comes to judging the Facebook page for your business. All right. I started my Facebook page in December. Very late December, before I opened my business. And I planned on opening my business like maybe in March. I thought probably by the end of March, I could get the business open, based on kind of some of the timeline pieces. So so I started getting some likes. I started putting out some teaser posts, not very much, just like here and there, and just to kind of establish, a little home base on Facebook about my business. I think when we opened the actual Facebook page, I don't even think I had the name of the store yet. Like I don't think I even had that figured out. So the month before I'm going to open, I decide I'm going to start ramping up excitement about the store. And so the 31 days before I opened, and honestly, I think at this point, I thought I was opening later in that month. So when I'm posting these at the beginning, I think I'm opening at the end of March. So we'll just do a quick pit stop. So I don't end up opening at the end of March. I had to delay my opening by about 2 weeks. We had to delay for some family things. And so we did not open until about April 10th. But while I am making these posts, I think I'm opening later in the month. Okay. So the month before I opened, the 31 days, the March 1st through the 31st, I had made 25 posts on my social media. My median post reactions, comments, and shares was 30, which I think is fantastic. I'm not anywhere close to that now today, but in that particular time period, it was really good. Okay. So, my page reach in that time period was up, was up 202%, which was 4.2 thousand. So 4,200. And I had 518 page visits, and I had 74 new page likes, which was up 85%. Okay. So we were having really great growth. Remember, I said we had 25 posts. There wasn't quite one every day. This was in a 31-day period. And so 25 posts over that time. Things I was doing, and we'll dive into these a little bit deeper later on, but just to kind of give you an idea of what I was doing to get these 74 new likes, this really explosive growth on my page. Product teasers. So I was saying like, this is what, MJ's is going to be carrying. And I would show little images of that. I showed a video of them putting up our sign on the building. So putting up a new sign. I put up kind of some department previews. So instead of just individual product teasers, I showed like a span of shelving and said, okay, this is what our toy department's going to look like, or skincare, whatever. And then I also asked questions about products. So that was probably what really helped my engagement some of the most, which is tricky. And we're going to dive into that a little bit too. But, so I'd say, this is a product I'm thinking about carrying. Does anybody, have anything to say about that? And then, I had 518 page visits that month. Okay. So I've set up at this time a coaching call with a business coach through the South Dakota CEO. It's a free program. They get funding from the Small Business Administration, and they are just fantastic. So it's a women's business center. My coach is helping me out, and she gives me advice, and we talk about different concerns I have or things going on. And she says, "That's insane. You're not paying for that. There's no advertising." And I'm like, "Nope. I'm scared to advertise. I don't know how to do that yet." She's like, "Okay, here's what you need to do. You need to post multiple times a day. I'm talking 3-4 times a day, every day." And I'm like, "What? You're crazy." But you know what? It didn't matter if because I think the things I talked with her about is like, is that not obnoxious? Like, is that really acceptable to, wow, that's a lot. 3-4 times every single day. I'm not concerned at this moment of having enough things to post about. That really wasn't a concern of mine because I have a ton of different products in my store. So that wasn't a concern. But the concern is like, are people going to think I'm crazy? Which takes us back to our quote, okay. So she says, do it. And I'm like, okay, well, there's no point in me getting this coaching if I'm not going to take your coaching advice, so yeah, I'm going to do it. I came really close to her advice. And actually, I don't think it was right at the beginning of April that I got that advice. I think it was slid in a few days because when I look at my metrics, it looks like I didn't really start posting that many times a day until almost maybe a weekend. So I came up with 80 posts that month. So from April 1st to April 30th, I had 80 posts. So that was up 220%. I posted 220% more posts because remember the previous month I had 25 posts. So my reactions went down, which I think is pretty normal because I posted 220% more. So people weren't able to keep up with me, I guess. So the reactions did go down to 25 per, as far as the median engagement, which was post reactions, comments, and shares, dropped to only 25 per post. That's a lot. 25 people engaging or, having some sort of engagement with your post, that's perfect. So that was 16.7% drop, which again, I'm perfectly acceptable, happy with that number. Okay. Now my page reach in the previous month, again, we had 4,200 and that was up 202%. So what can we do with that if we post 80 posts? And so the reach went up to 15,000. So we went from 4,200 to 15,000 and that was up 255.6%. Page visits. So we had 518 page visits in the previous 31 days. And now in this 30 days, we have 1,700 page visits. So that was up 225.8%. That was all fine and dandy, but the one that I jumped up and down about and was just elated about was the fact that in the previous month, I thought I was just cooking with 74 new likes. I thought this is bananas and I am fantastic. And this month now doing, as my coach instructed, I got 310 new page likes, new Facebook likes to my page. So we want to talk about how I did that, how I broke it out, and then we're going to talk about some tips that I have for people, that come from, real numbers and not, people who are just, Instagram filtering, I guess is maybe a term, and telling you, this is how you do it, but they don't have a business. They don't have sales behind it. And so this is real world, real numbers. I am ringing the cash register. And so this is my advice because that is what motivates me. If this isn't ringing the cash register, I'm not spending my time on it. So that's where this advice to me is better than any of that other advice that you're going to get from somebody who might have a good, social media following, regardless of what platform, but are they ringing a cash register? And if they are, that's fantastic and take that advice. But if they are not ringing that cash register, take the advice, but file it in the this might be okay, but it's not what you're going to just change and start doing. It's just too important to make sure that you're focusing on a goal, and mine is I got to keep my doors open. So, okay. So some of the things I did that were really big during that time is I did a live video of changes while they were occurring. We were doing some big things like, there was this refrigerated van trailer at the back of our building, and we had made kind of an agreement. And so the people were hauling that away. And so it was just kind of my building isn't real sexy as it is, but it was definitely more of an eyesore. And so this was getting pulled away. So I just did a live video like, okay, we have some changes occurring. They're taking this away, And then I did a live video of while they were putting up the signs, while they were hanging up our signs. And then I just kept doing real photos. Like I would just snap a photo and I would post that photo. I wouldn't mess with the photo. I wouldn't go do anything complicated. I mean, if you're doing 80 posts in a month, you don't have time to just do a bunch of fluffy filtered nonsense, Now, there's two arguments to this. The first argument is quantity, not quality, and the other is quality, not quantity. Okay, so regardless of which school of thought you're in here, what if you think you have something that's really quality, you spend a lot of time on it, and it falls flat? How are you adjusting to that, and how are you changing for that? So this could go both ways. This could be, this could be discussed either way. But what I looked at is I actually am doing something very different. Everything on Facebook is super polished. It's been, designed and developed, and it's got this and that, and it sparkles and it shines. And mine is like a legit picture from a real place. Like this is something that anybody could have snapped with their picture, with their phone, and they could have put this on there. And it is going to stand out in a feed. And I think that is why it did. It stood out. It was like, oh, wait, what is they? Let's just scroll back a little. What is that real photo of a real shelf in a real store? And so for me, that was kind of the theory there of why I was doing it that way, and why, I wanted it to look like something real. Okay, so people will tell you that they know how to do this. They know how to make, Facebook work or whatever. But my audience is different. My audience is made up of unique people who want to see real images. So at the end of the day, maybe you're in more of an artistic group, or you have an audience that's very artistic. They might want to see something that is more artsy than my people. My audience is different, and it is unique. It is made up of individuals within that group, and they like seeing real images. That does not mean that might work for your group, but if you think it might, give it a try. See how it goes. Okay, at this time, I do want to make sure that I specify I still am not utilizing stories to this day. I think that would be something I really should try to focus on. I've just always struggled kind of getting it figured out how to do that different from a post. And I don't know. It's never been something I've been very comfortable with. So that is something I plan on working on, improving and at least getting some stories out there at least, once a month or something, because right now it's a big fat goose egg. But just so you know, I'm not doing any stories in any of this that I'm talking about here. Okay, one of the things that I also want to really drive home today is the fact that there are different kinds of post and post types, and the algorithm knows the difference. Okay. If you see someone else's post and you share it to your business post, that is so not even your content. So that doesn't even get to count. That doesn't get to count towards any of this. So we need content that you are creating. So yes, you can share other posts. That's fine. Definitely do that. But when I'm talking about these different kinds of posts, I'm not talking about sharing someone else's content. I'm saying share your own content, which is not a share post. Okay. So the different kinds of posts that we're talking about is there's a difference between like a picture and a screenshot. Facebook does not like screenshots. That's not your content. And usually it's not as good of a resolution on the photo, so they're not going to want to put that up. So a picture that you take is different than making an image or a graphic. So those are two different things. So if you go on to, let's see, I think Illustrator's one, I personally use Canva. So if you're going to be making a graphic or something, maybe it has a photo in it, but it also has text on the side and it has some other things, that is not the same as just a photo that you post. Okay. Those are two different things. I know they're the same file type, but Facebook sees the difference. And then video is it's totally different. It's not the same as the photos. And then live video is a completely different type of content. So the reason why this is all important is like Facebook knows, it learns about you, and it's an advertising platform. So if we break it down to what it is, at the end of the day, they make money by selling your attention. So if you are on the platform, they want you to stay on the platform. The longer on the platform, the more ads they can show you, which means you are more profitable to their bottom line. Okay. However you feel about that, that's fine. It doesn't matter. It's no different than a magazine. Magazines want you to read them, so you look at the ads, so then they can sell the ads for more. They have more people looking at them. Okay. So Facebook wants your attention. And that, I guess, is the difference, where a magazine is just going to have the same content in it. It's not going to cater that content to who's looking at the magazine. But Facebook knows that I am a sucker for videos that are like a process video. So somebody will be making something like they'll be doing a complicated woodworking project, and they will do a time-lapse video in which they show all the stuff they're doing, but then they, speed it way up, or they just show little pieces of this and as the process goes along. They know I can't help it. It's like a 3-minute video and I will watch that video. It's insane. And I know in my head, this is insane while I'm watching the video. Like, what are you doing? But I just can't help it. I love them. And Facebook knows that. So they're like, here's another one. Here's another one. So they are going to show me that way before, like, I don't engage or interact with the graphic images, like where you have a photo and then you put the text. I don't really pay attention to those so much. So they don't show those to me. They're like, no, this one, she likes these graphic things. Same thing with a live video. If they know that you really like watching live videos, they're going to kind of push those to you more so, because they want you to stay on the platform. They want you to enjoy it. What's the information that we just learned from that? We learned that different people respond to different things. So if you are posting all the same thing, you're doing yourself a disservice. You need to post many different types of content so that you can engage with different types of people. Basically, I was posting 3-4 times a day, but not everyone was going to see all of those posts. They were going to see the ones that the algorithm thought that they would engage with the most. And then when they engage with it, it will show them more. If they don't engage with it, it will show them less. So what that means is if you're putting out the exact same content all the time and you're not challenging how you put that content out, Facebook's going to show it to less and less people if it's not getting engaged with. So you've got to get that engagement in order to push that reach up. Okay, so we talked about live videos. So I was definitely not comfortable doing this, but I don't know, somebody told me you have to do these videos, and so I just thought, okay, whatever, I'll do these videos. So no one else is willing to do them, so I have to get in there. But of course, other people are definitely willing to critique you and to give you pointers. At the end of the day, I decided, you know what? At this point in my life, I want to be my authentic self. I struggled my whole life with people not understanding me or getting me when they first meet me. So I always camouflage who I am at the beginning of meeting new people. And I just kind of pretend like I'm not really who I am. And then as they get to know me, I slowly start to pull that camouflage off. And then they're like, oh my gosh, you're so fun. We love you. Da 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 da. Well, okay. If you met me full on when you first met me, you probably wouldn't have liked me. I don't know what people thought. Maybe they thought I was obnoxious. I don't know. Anyways, they didn't like me. So I, at this point in my life, have decided I am done with so much camouflage. Like, it's exhausting to me to have to be like, okay, I have to kind of, not be myself around this person right now because they aren't going to understand. They're going to know me. I'm really over it. Really, really over it. I want to be my authentic self. And so when I do these live videos, that is who I am. I am my authentic self. I don't care if I say a bunch of funny, goofy things. I'm just myself. And the longer that I've been doing it, the more people really appreciate that. I think, based on comments that I get, people are like, you're so funny. And I'm like, I really wasn't trying to be funny. I was just being. So I'm glad I made you giggle. That's fantastic. I love spreading that positivity, but it really wasn't a comedy act. That was me. That was just me being me. So just remember, people may not be willing to do what you're doing. And like, I was not comfortable getting on live videos. Like, people will say to me like, oh, well, I'm not comfortable doing that with my business. Oh, I'm not comfortable, trying that, da, da, da. But what makes you think I was? What makes you think I was like, oh my gosh, I want to put my face on there? Like, no, that was not okay with me. But I also told you I have to figure out how to ring the cash register. I have to keep my doors open. So those are things I care about. And if that means I have to jump past this hurdle and challenge myself to do something I'm not comfortable with, then I'm going to do it. Again, going back to working in that corporate job, they never asked me to do a live video. Certainly not. But, I didn't always get a choice in what I was doing. They would say, you're going to do X, Y, and Z. And I'd be like, well, I don't really like doing Y. Can I just skip that? I'm not good at it. I don't like it. Doesn't matter. You don't get to pick. Like, it's not how it works. So, if this is going to be good for my business, I'm going to figure it out and I'm going to try it. I'm going to do a test. If it works, we're going to keep doing it. If it doesn't, we'll go ahead and scrap it and we'll move on. We'll fail fast and we'll move on. Okay, so just remember that those people who are willing to critique you or give you pointers, they might not be out there in front of the camera. So accept their advice, but don't let it pull you down or make you feel less than because they have made you feel like you're not doing a good enough job, okay? Because you're doing the effort, you're doing the attempt, and that is what is awesome. You will run across so-called social media experts. I had one, and told me they knew what was what, but, the social media experts will judge you, but you can't worry about what they say because do you have sales to back up your reach? Are you showing that sales are coming because of what you're doing? And maybe that's not your goal, and we'll talk about that in just a second here, but if your goal is similar to mine, and that is to have sales in order to continue to exist in your business, then what these social media experts think is not really pertinent because I know when I do a live video that I tend to get sales because of that live video. So I know that tends to happen. And so I don't really care if people don't like my video, or if they think that I am, silly or something, or they're going to criticize how I'm doing it, not in a endearing, oh, I thought that was funny, but in a like, you're kind of funny. Okay. I don't care what their response is, because what I care about is that my customers like it. They want that information. And they're going, oh my gosh, that is going to solve a problem for me. That particular item is going to be perfect for fill in the blank. So I'm going to come in and I'm going to buy it. And I see that happen. So I am helping people explore things in my store. I'm helping them find gifts and solutions to problems that they have. And they appreciate that. And they show me that appreciation by coming and buying things after I do those videos. So that's really what it comes down to, is if these people have opinions. I had somebody who kind of criticized me because I was posting 3-4 times a day at the beginning. When I started doing that, they kind of gave me this little they didn't say this directly, but I can't quite quote them because this is way over, a year ago that I got this criticism. But they were criticizing how many times I was posting, and they were saying it was, kind of alluded to the fact that it was obnoxious. And I just I just smiled and said, thank you so much for your feedback. And I left and I was dropping off something at their business where they were the employee and they were giving me that feedback. And it's like, I appreciate your feedback so much. I just also need you to realize that I have a business to run and bills to pay. And there's a lot of things that you don't have to think about in my business that I do. So, the other thing is there's vanity metrics. So I think first you really have to know, what is your purpose? Why are you on Facebook? Let's say this particular episode is all about Facebook. So what is your purpose on Facebook? Why are you there? What are you doing? Is it so that you can educate people, but then to lead to sales? Or is it so you can educate them, but then lead to, maybe a course or some content that you sell? Is it just straight sales? Like, is that your goal? Or is it the growth of your audience so that then you can monetize that down the road? So you really have to know what your purpose is and then understand the difference between vanity metrics and, those real metrics. So vanity metrics are things that don't, at the end of the day, get you to your purpose. I had a moment, I was in a lull and I was feeling bad, and I said something to my business coach about, there was this, we'll say it was a floral business, and that they had these pretty flowers, and they had a ton of likes, like 60 likes on this one post. And I just said, man, like, why am I not getting that kind of, response? And and I'm so thankful for her coaching. And so she said, well, pretty flowers might just get likes because they are pretty flowers. But they might not be getting sales as a result. Now, I don't want to put down that post because, reach and exposure is important. Maybe somebody doesn't need flowers that day, but they should be thinking about that business. So I'm not saying that those likes weren't important. I'm saying that in general, if they put up that post and they didn't see a lift in their sales, then those might be vanity metrics. Again, going back to your goal, is it just to stay relevant so that when you do need flowers, you think of this business? Then that is important, but not necessarily the likes. The likes aren't necessarily important. It's more of just getting that exposure and being out there with that customer. So just kind of keep in mind, like, what are those metrics and what is that? Okay. And then the other thing I want to share with you guys just before we're done here is I don't do Facebook ads. I don't pay for Facebook ads, partly because I can't. I have made posts that I didn't understand were against their community standards. One example is a post. I've mentioned I have a photo machine in my business, and so the photo machine can print pictures. It can burn CDs. It can do flash drives. And so I put that information in a post, and I put it on an ad, and it got banned. And I mean, what? I'm like, it's a photo machine. What could possibly be wrong with this? And the only thing I could come up with is it had the word burn. So you can burn a CD. Okay. And so the algorithm is not a human, and it will pull a post because of something like that and flag it and say that this is wrong. And you're never going to get a human being to properly evaluate that case. There are too many posts, and it is flagging too much stuff that it is just fighting with a computer that has no sense of logic. And so the word burn is not allowed, and that's that. It doesn't matter if you're talking about a simple thing about a CD. So be careful in an example of wood burning. Maybe if it's all together in one word, but you wouldn't want to say, I'm going to burn this image onto this wood, because then it might get flagged. You're not allowed to say burn. I had a situation where we had a spider outside of the store, and I took a picture of it and I sent it to everybody. It was a very large, I posted it. It's a very large spider, put it out there, and several people were like, burn it to the ground. Obviously not liking spiders, but Facebook flagged their comments because they are making a joke about, I'm terrified of spiders, but Facebook sees that as it could be potentially in a hate speech type of way with violence, vandalism, etc. So just remember that you don't own the space on Facebook. You don't own it, you rent it, and the lease could be pulled at any given day or time. So if you are relying too much on it, you need to figure out how, if tomorrow I pulled the plug on your Facebook, how would that affect your business? Would it be detrimental or not? And if it would, then the answer needs to be, you need to figure out how to get some movement off of Facebook and where you're not going to get that pulled. So, with as much good as can come from having a great Facebook page and having a bunch of great Facebook engagement, you want to make sure that you also can contact those customers some other way in case for some reason you misspeak and say something about burning a CD and now you can no longer post on there. They obviously didn't pull my whole thing, but I can't do ads. And so I also have to be really careful. My business, we sell CBD products that is hemp derived, and it's against community standards. And so one time I had forgotten that it was against, and I put a picture of it on there. And it's kind of a quirky deal. You can put a picture of the product, but you can't say certain words. And that's really where the problem comes in, is that I've posted a picture before, but then if I put in the words and in a description, that's where you get the thing pulled. So just kind of a word of caution. Yes, build up your Facebook page. Yes, take advantage of it if it is right for your business. But remember, you are on a rented space, and that you may not want to put all your eggs in that basket. So make sure you're diversifying your customer communication so that you don't find that you lose all contact with them over a change that Facebook chooses to do in the future, because it might be what's right for their business, even if it's bad for your business. All right, guys, I'm so glad you joined me and learned about all of the obnoxious things I did with my Facebook page in order to grow it. And I'm not going to worry about the approval of the lambs, because I have to worry about paying my property taxes, my light bill, my employees. Oh, I could go on and on. So just remember, those critiques are nice to hear. You should file them away, but you do not need to let them bring you down. And don't forget, guys, positivity is contagious. Go give somebody some positivity today. And I hope that I helped you today as well. Thank you for joining me this week on the Small Business Hustle. I would love to hear your feedback so I can better serve you. And don't forget to subscribe so you can catch me next week, where we'll continue to talk about small business. If you found value in this podcast, you can show your support by sharing our podcast with your audience and your friends. We appreciate you, and please spread some positivity today. I promise it will do you wonders.